Day 174, Friday, June 9th. Numbers 27. Numbers 27 1-23 NKJV. Then came the daughters of Zelophehad the son of Heper, the son of Gilead, the son of Machir, the son of Manasseh, from the families of Manasseh the son of Joseph. And these were the names of his daughters: Mahlah, Noah, Hoglah, Milcah, and Tirzah. And they stood before Moses, before Eleazar the priest, and before the leaders and all the congregation, by the doorway of the tabernacle of meeting, saying, Our father died in the wilderness, but he was not in the company of those who gathered together against the Lord, in company with Korah, but he died in his own sin, and he had no sons. Why should the name of our father be removed from among his family because he had no son? Give us a possession among our father's brothers. So Moses brought their case before the Lord. And the Lord spoke to Moses, saying, The daughters of Zelophehad speak what is right. You shall surely give them a possession of inheritance among their father's brothers, and cause the inheritance of their father to pass to them. And you shall speak to the children of Israel, saying, If a man dies and has no son, then you shall cause his inheritance to pass to his daughter. If he has no daughter, then you shall give his inheritance to his brothers. If he has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to his father's brothers. And if his father has no brothers, then you shall give his inheritance to the relative closest to him in his family, and he shall possess it. And it shall be to the children of Israel a statute of judgment, just as the Lord commanded Moses. Now the Lord said to Moses, Go up into this Mount Abarim, and see the land which I have given to the children of Israel. And when you have seen it, you also shall be gathered to your people, as Aaron your brother was gathered. For in the wilderness of Zin, during the strife of the congregation, you rebelled against my command to hallow me at the waters before their eyes. These are the waters of Meribah, at Kadesh in the wilderness of Zin. Then Moses spoke to the Lord, saying, Let the Lord, the God of the spirits of all flesh, set a man over the congregation, who may go out before them and go in before them, who may lead them out and bring them in, that the congregation of the Lord may not be like sheep which have no shepherd. And the Lord said to Moses, Take Joshua the son of Nun with you, a man in whom is the Spirit, and lay your hand on him. Set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation, and inaugurate him in their sight. And you shall give some of your authority to him, that all the congregation of the children of Israel may be obedient. He shall stand before Eleazar the priest, who shall inquire before the Lord for him by the judgment of the Urim. At his word they shall go out, and at his word they shall come in, he and all the children of Israel with him, all the congregation. So Moses did as the Lord commanded him. He took Joshua and set him before Eleazar the priest and before all the congregation. And he laid his hands on him and inaugurated him, just as the Lord commanded by the hand of Moses. Daily Deep Dive. Here is the UCG reading plan for this day. Zelophehad died in the wilderness, not having disqualified himself in the great sins of Korah, or the Moabites, or any such thing, without any sons to receive an inheritance. So his daughters make the unusual appeal recorded in this chapter. And though it is contrary to the social mores of the day for women to inherit land, their case makes sense, prompting Moses to take the matter before God. God's response is that Zelophehad's daughters are right, and he gives Moses an additional judgment, adding to the previous law. Thus, the daughters are to receive an inheritance. We will see more on this matter in chapter 36. God then reaffirms to Moses that he will not be allowed to enter the promised land because he rebelled at God's command when he struck the rock to bring forth water. Verse 14. Compare Numbers 20:12. Moses, as so often before, thinks only of the people rather than himself. He says, they are going to need a leader. Compare verse 17. So God commands Moses to ordain Joshua, a man with God's Spirit in him. Verse 18. Though Joshua is to be over the congregation. Verse 16. To lead them as a shepherd. Verse 17. He is not to be a supreme one-man ruler with unlimited authority. He will not even have the degree of authority Moses has. Each time Joshua needs to know the will of God, he is to stand before Eleazar the priest, who will seek God's answer by the judgment of the Urim. Verse 21. Indeed, it should be noted that no other human figure of the Old Testament will be given the degree of authority Moses is invested with. As God's special prophet, Deuteronomy 18:15, Numbers 12:6-8, Israel's chief human judge, Acts 7:35, Exodus 18:13-26, and the mediator of the Old Covenant, compare Galatians 3:19-20. No one would truly fill his shoes until Jesus Christ himself arrived. Compare Deuteronomy 34:10, Deuteronomy 18:15-19. And, verse 4, since they had no male, their family would not have been included in the census and therefore they were about to get no land as an inheritance. Verse 5, God is so often made out to be harsh, rigid, and unreasonable, but nothing could be further from the truth. The God family, God the Father and Jesus Christ are both incredibly patient, kind, understanding, reasonable, and merciful. This is another example of God hearing, understanding, and instituting laws to ensure what is fair and right. Verse 18, here we see the practice of laying hands upon someone to appoint them into a position of service before God and publicly in front of people as witnesses. We should notice, Joshua had been serving for a long time in various roles and ways before God placed him in this role. He had a proven track record of faithfulness, obedience, service, and commitment. He wasn't a novice. Notice also, while Moses asked for a new leader for the people, God was the one who selected him. Even though Moses had God's Holy Spirit in him, only God knows the hearts of individuals and only God can best choose human leaders.